Hello and welcome to another race day. We're going to get started in about 5 minutes. Catch you soon. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another race. I'm your host, Stumpy Jones. Just double checking. Oh yeah, we have before we get started, I'd like to welcome Maxwell Smart to the to Supercart for Alpiner. Get him updated real quick. And we'll get up. Starting off, we're in Estonia today. Sure, I believe is our first look at Estonia. It's a beautiful racing course, in my opinion. Very fluid with the path the drivers take. As I say that, the very first turn on the qualifying lap, half the racers essentially tried to cut the corner too tight, and they run into the barrels. And taking the pole position is Julian O'Sullivan. Followed by Puff and Bo Lind. We've got clear weather in F2 through Supercarts, but we do have a bit of rain in Germany for F1. As Bo Lind is looking to make some moves on the inside. Get a little bit closer to the action. As there's a tremendous amount of car damage going through this first lap, one of the things I do like about this course and track is that it is very, very tight in the lines that you have to take to get that fastest lap, and takes a tremendous amount of skill with that damage right around. Our top 10 seems to be pretty full of human drivers, which I love seeing that. Seeing the roster spots fill up. We have Julian O'Sullivan in first with Bo Lind in second, as Woody Guthrie will take his first pit. Starting things off for everyone. Puff the second will be in third on those hard tires, followed shortly by a significantly damaged Caleb Hayden. Julian O'Sullivan really pushing those softs as him and Bo Lind move into the pits simultaneously, as Puff the second on those pretty worn hards will assume the first spot, followed by that damaged Caleb Hayden. Bob Jenkins right behind. Lance Stroll Jr., a name we haven't seen, is up into the 6th place, but they are very worn tires and very beat up as a car. Bo Lind likely to try and push these tires to the end of the race. Is currently in first position, followed shortly by a similarly tired out Julian O'Sullivan, with Woody Guthrie in third and Puff the second and fourth. A real big battle for fifth between Trey Daniels, Can You Take Me Higher, and Caleb Hayden. Yeah. Bo Lind actually opting for a pit stop going into the start of the 8th lap. We'll see how this plays out. I really think they probably could have stretched those tires, but on a course with this much damage and this much room for error, this may turn out to be a great call from the crew chief. Only time will tell. Still quite a battle in that can you take me higher grid. He just seems to be boxing everybody out and just causing slow ups left and right. Puff takes the white flag with Caleb Hayden just behind and Bo Lind about a second behind the pair of them. Bob Jenkins in 4th, Julian O'Sullivan in 5th. And Maple Stroop is really pushing tires as Lord Farquaad and Lance Stroll on 9th and 10th are fighting for those positions. Puff the second will cross and take the checkered flag with Caleb Hayden and Bo Lind right behind. Julian O'Sullivan and Bob Jenkins in 5th. Woody Guthrie in 6th, Trey Daniels in 7th, and Can You Take Me Higher in 9th. Lance Stroll Jr. and Lord Farquaad do finish with points with that 9th and 10th spot, despite Lord Farquaad pretty much having their tires completely worn down to metal. Going to be a little bit of pause right here while I get these results posted. Congratulations, Julian Sullivan, getting the fastest lap paired with the pole position. So nice pair of bonus points right there. Alright, next we're going to move to Formula 3. Move to Germany. For potential new viewers, differences is Superkart's 10 laps. Formula 3 are 15. F2 is 24 and Formula 1 is 34 laps with 2 qualifying laps. So a little bit of differences between, and there is different weather for each F1, 2, and 3. So as we get our first look at Germany 3, crash test dummy and Nash DePaulo are towards the front with Annie Skywalker. But it is a nice longer track after we just watched a pretty compressed and efficient Estonia. So a lot more use for turbos in this one and the DRS. As Ryan Gosling and Nash DePaulo slingshot past crash test dummy just before the final turn, and Nash DePaulo will take the pole position, number 1. As we come into the first corner, Crash's tummy cuts on the inside and gets a very clean line. There is a lot of bump and rub or bump and grind from our 6 through 10 drivers with Quick Draw McGraw, Ryan Gosling, Nash Apollo, and Carl Burka. Really going back and forth. Victory has made quite a move from his initial starting spot into first place with Quick Draw McGraw moving up into second. Van de Geigen is in third. And Carl Barca and Crash Test Dummy are battling for that 4th position. Annie Skywalker in 6th, just waiting just behind them. The tag team of Nash Apollo and A. Jobin are in that 3rd pack of drivers, fighting for that 8th position with Jackson Kyle. Van de Geigen currently having the lead on some medium tires. It's just kind of surprising considering he's driving extremely efficiently with quite a few soft tire users of Quick Draw McGraw and Victory just behind him. As say that Victory is looking to pass Van de Geigen, and he does so pretty effectively just before the start of the 4th lap. Fillmore Carlin's one of the drivers, currently in 10th with Ryan Gosling just behind in 11th. They have sustained a tremendous amount of damage compared to our lead, so they must have gotten in some sort of near crash experience. I do appreciate how the entry to the pit, you kind of are forced to hit the wall with how the lines are drawn. Van de Geigen on those mediums really maintaining that 1st position. Those tires are pretty worn compared to some of the hard drivers, and Annie Skywalker, is Nash Apollo, and Jackson Kyle are fighting in that essentially 3 through 5 pack. Van de Geigen does opt to go into the pit, and same as Jackson Kyle on those medium tires. So Carl Barca will have the lead, followed by Annie Skywalker and Victory on a fresh set of hards. Quick Draw McGraw, Van de Geigen, and Dan Ortiz are all together in this 2nd pack of racers. Annie Skywalker offering a great draft for his teammate Victory and getting that DRS going as Carl Barca goes into the pit for the first time, and Victory will assume the 1st position once again, followed by Quick Draw McGraw and Van de Geigen. Carl Barker coming out of the pit smashing into Tierra Carpeta and really just letting him know it's his time to shine. He's ready to go. As Carpeta essentially goes from 4th to 8th as a result of that slowdown from getting hit. Victory having a pretty significant 3.5 second lead over Van de Geigen. Also on a slightly equivalent tires, one being hard and one being medium, so the distance to the next pit should be the same, and it'll be interesting to see if the crew opts for softs or hards for these current leaders when they're about to pit, because they could go double softs if it really came down to it. Jackson Kyle and Nash Apollo pretty much locked at the hips, as we've seen pretty recently, going back and forth for the 6th position. As I say that, Kyle gets a substantial lead, and Annie Skywalker passes Nash Apollo to occupy that 7th spot. Keep focus on the 1st and 2nd place to see if Carl Barker can make the kind of a comeback or close the gap against victory. And then Van de Geigen is also holding Crash Test Dummy and Quick Draw McGraw, both on extremely worn tires, are battling for that 5th position, as Jackson Kyle is just waiting in the wings behind. Victory opting to really push these hard tires to the limit, and on lap 11, pretty worn tires. But like I've mentioned before, this is more of a straightaway track, so you may be able to get away with pushing your tires to their maximum compared to some other tracks. There's quite a pile of racers right now in this predominant passing group of Ryan Gosling in 5th, with Quick Draw McGraw, Crash Test Dummy, Jackson Kyle, Darren Martise, and Nash Apollo fighting in that 5 through 9 pack. Victory is opting for a pit, same with Carl Barca, but they will remain in that 1st and 2nd position, which just goes to show how much of a lead those two had on the field. With 3 laps remaining, Victory and Carl Barca and Van der Geigen are all on these soft tires, and they're all within 3 seconds of each other. Barca actually just gets held up by Stevie Wee, and Wee takes a penalty as a result. Van de Geigen making a very bold decision on extremely fresh tires and extremely an uncharacteristic tire change for this stage in the game. As it stands going into lap 14, Victory has about a 2-second lead on Carl Barca, and Jackson Kyle is about 6 seconds behind Carl Barca. But Jackson Kyle is looking to close the distance, as Annie Skywalker and Crash Test Dummy are battling out for 4th. Victory will take the white flag, as Carl Barca is in 2nd for the time being. There's about a 2.5-second difference between the two of them. Jackson Kyle currently in 3rd, and Crash Test Dummy in 4th. I would be very surprised to see if the order change with this amount of time left, unless Nash Apollo were to catch up to Crash Test Dummy for the top 5. Victory will cross the finish line, taking 1st, followed by Carl Barca. Jackson Kyle right behind them, and Crash Test Dummy in 4th. Nash Apollo and Van de Geigen gets passed by Annie Skywalker at the last second to take the 5 through 6th and 7th position. Nash Apollo and Van de Geigen kind of finished at the same time, so we'll see how that finishes up. Quick Draw McGraw takes 8th, and Ryan Gosling takes 9th, and Darren Martise finishes out scoring in 10th. Victory with the fastest lap, so getting significant points. And we go into F2. Gonna let the cars do the talking on this qualifying lap and give myself a little bit of a break. And taking the pole position is Furious Chicken. Congratulations to you. Followed by Dale Gordon Jr. and Zoom Zoom I Go Quick. So out of the gate, Furious Chicken retains his lead with Dale Gore Jr. Bumping right next to each other. Actually, as I say that, they just get separation. And Lady Driver and Cole Trickle are making the moves up for that third position. Gonna keep some focus on the middle of the pack while there are as many drivers as possible. As Zoom Zoom I Go Quick passes Furious Chicken on the inside with Cole Trickle in second. Dale Gordon Jr. slingshots ahead of the group, going from essentially what was 10th into a battle for 4th with Furious Chicken. Cole Trickle going almost out of the line. And almost crashing. Zoom Zoom I Go Quick has given himself about a second separation, which at this stage of the race is pretty significant over Furious Chicken, Lady Driver, and Cole Trickle, and Dale Gordon Jr. Scud Muffin, former teammates, battle back and forth for this 6th spot. As I say that, Lady Driver enters the mix with them and holds up Scud Muffin, unfortunately. Almost having him go to a separate pack. Scud Muffin gets pinned between Sisyphus Cuddles and Miguel Duhamel as Scud unfortunately falls back slowly once again. Fierce Chicken, having now caught back up to Zoom Zoom I Go Quick, has really caused a bit of separation, utilizing that turbo quite effectively. Hot Wheels, Dale Gordon Jr. and Lady Driver continue their dominance if they maintain these positions as it stands. Battling for this third position amongst each other and Cole Trickle. Cole Trickle using that boost just to try and catch up to Dale Gordon Jr. We start to see our first pit stops of the day with our soft tire users and Scott Pilgrim starting to go into the pit. This is where we really start to see quite a change in who's where. Cole Trickle on these hard tires is currently in second, but that will quickly change. Similarly for Lady Driver and Stumpy Jones and Scud Muffin. Marky Mark Martin, kind of surprisingly towards the back middle of the pack in the 7th position. High hopes for him. I'm pretty sure this is one of his focal points, as he just currently gets passed by Dale Gordon Jr. Horatio Sinclair in 9th and Miguel Duhamel in 10th. Cole Trickle really performing quite well, staying up in the top 3. As Furious Chicken, our race leader, goes into the pits, Cole Trickle decides to stay out for one more lap. Same with Lady Driver. Stumpy Jones and Scud Muffin also go into the pit, so they will be losing spaces, as well as Marky Mark Martin. You can see right now that a lot of these turns are a lot less clean and lose a bit more speed between the completely worn tires of Lady Driver and very fresh mediums of Furious Chicken, as Furious Chicken is far more controlled, purely as a result of that, as Cole Trickle and Lady Driver pushing their tires to the limit go in for a fresh set. Furious Chicken resuming control, and Dale Gordon Jr. in 2nd, and Zoom Zoom I Go Quick in 3rd. Cole Trickle fast out of the pit stops, retains 5th, and on a set of softs it actually passes Duhamel to go for 4th. Scott Pilgrim charging up the ranks. I believe he started in 10th and is now moved up to 4th. Really having a very solid race at this point. So as we're about 10 laps, or as we're 10 laps through, Furious Chicken with a substantial lead, about 2.5 second lead over Dale Gordon Jr., with another 2 second lead over Cole Trickle, and following them is Lady Driver and Stumpy Jones for that 4th and 5th position. Zoom Zoom I Go Quick in 6th, and Scud Muffin in 7th. So there's bit of separation. Closest grouping of people is this Horatio Sinclair, Scott Pilgrim, and Marky Mark Martin and Miguel Duhamel in that 10th through 7th. Furious Chicken making his way through the back of the pack, starting to lap some cars. Also, that probably holding up a little bit. Cole Trickle very effectively passing Morgan Charo. And Lady Driver in 3rd. Cole Trickle sticking with his strategy of changing tires quickly and staying on softs. It's been really effective for him so far, keeping him towards the front. Cole Trickle continuing to make his way back into his previous position as he passes Zoom Zoom I Go Quick and is about to pass Stumpy Jones on the inside, and does so, retaking second. Lady Driver, our current race leader, gets denied by Ambrose Rove, and I cannot believe there was not a penalty against Ambrose Rove right there for not letting Lady Driver pass. Cole Trickle, your current race leader, but only barely, as Lady Driver is trying to hold her spot and just gets past very recently. I would be very surprised to see Lady Driver not take a pit stop as she's getting passed by these fresh soft tire users, and she does just that. So Cole Trickle still retaining the lead as Furious Chicken is just behind him. And Zoom Zoom I Go Quick in third. Scott Pilgrim, Stumpy Jones, and Ambrose Rove bodied together. Even though Ambrose Rove is a driver who is lapped, he's definitely found conflict. And just like that, Lady Driver on fresh softs is back in the mix, paired with Stumpy Jones in that 4th and 5th spot. Cole Trickle pitting once again. Actually opting for hard tires this time with 6 laps remaining. Very surprising with the previous plan, but on fresh hards he's not going to need to pit once more, and Furious Chicken will, so this may be enough to give him the to shave down that 6-second lead that Furious Chicken has. Stumpy Jones currently in third, with Dale Gordon Jr. and Lady Driver battling for 4th. Sisyphus Cuddles has made some, as I say that, goes in the pits, made big moves to get up into these points position. Fierce Chicken still with a lead, but it is dwindled a little bit, losing about a second to Cole Trickle as Furious Chicken goes into the pits. This is the window for Cole Trickle to regain that lead, and does so. Furious Chicken opting for mediums with 4 seconds left. You would have liked to see him on soft tires, but he knows what he's... Their race crew may know what they're doing, and that'll definitely make sure that they do not need to pit one more time. As Furious Chicken currently in third, just behind Stumpy Jones, Cole Trickle in first. Dale Gordon Jr. and Stumpy Jones speeding into the pits to try and pass each other, and Lady Driver just behind them. Zoom Zoom I Go Quick on those mediums, those fresh mediums, will no longer need to pit anymore. Still very close between Lady Driver and Stumpy Jones. Scud Muffin also staying within the top 10 right now. Cole Trickle with about a 3-second lead with 2 laps remaining. Doing quite well. Scott Pilgrim in that 5th spot. Lady Driver getting held up once again by these lapped vehicles that just have no respect for them. It's that darn Steven Toast guy. With 1 lap remaining, Cole Trickle has a 3-second lead over Furious Chicken, and Dale Gordon Jr. is 3 seconds behind Furious Chicken. Zoom Zoom I Go Quick is in 4th. There is a battle between Stumpy Jones, Lady Driver, and Scott Pilgrim, and Miguel Duhamel just behind them. Keep going back between this very contentious group for 5th. And the lead, as Cole Trickle will take the checkered flag, and Furious Chicken will take 2nd. Dale Gordon Jr. will take 3rd. Zoom Zoom I Go Quick in 4th. Stumpy Jones will emerge as the winner in that 5th group. Scott Pilgrim in 6th. Lady Driver in 7th. Miguel Duhamel in 8th. And Horatio Sinclair in 9th. Scud Muffin just finishing outside the top 9 and will take 10th. Dale Gordon Jr. with the fastest lap. Congratulations to him. Yeah, and congratulations to Cole Trickle. Now we go from a dry Formula 2 to a very wet Formula 1. Non-stop rain out here today. Halfway through the qualifier, late for bingo, currently has the fastest first lap, just followed by Harrison Andrews. And the pole position will go to late for bingo, followed by Marcel Von Salinier and Harrison Andrews, rounding out your top 3. And starting off, we have late for bingo retaining his first position with Xavi Venegas right behind on his heel, and then a group of three between Von Salinier, Burkhardt, and Castile Angelic. Overall, pretty tight race, but we are only one lap through. Aside from Late for Bingo and Xavi Venegas caught getting some separation from the pack. Harrison Andrews is the first racer into the pit. We'll see how this affects, because with it being wet all day, it's very unlikely for the different in tire wear or different in team decisions to be the difference today. So it's hard to come back. It's just all about racing. So about 7 laps through the race, we have Late for Bingo retaining his lead with Xavi Venegas in second and Castile Angelic in third. Sophia Toth in fourth, Alex Burkhardt in fifth, and Von Salinier actually just passing Burkhardt, going back and forth with him for that fifth position. Beer Deadly in seventh, Pete Savage in eighth, and Destreak in ninth, followed by Andrews. Andrews has Mamma Mia, Mark Mueller, and Alex Albono hot on their heels in that 11th position. As we are starting to see more pit stops, Late for Bingo actually first in that lead pack to take a pit and get fresh tires, but with it being wet, it doesn't look like there's too much of a difference between it for Xavi and Castile Angelic as they opt to go into the pit just a lap after, and Late for Bingo will resume their lead. Toth and Burkhardt sustaining quite a bit of damage goes into the pit as well. So Sophia Toth and Harrison Andrews almost colliding as Toth is coming outside the pits. Harrison Andrews. Late for Bingo off to a 5-second lead at this point in the race. Xavi in second, Castile in third. Quite a bit of driver separation between the two of them, with a main contentious pack for that 8th through 10th position with Tess Semmer, DeStreak, and Dadley, with Pete Savage on the outside sitting in 11th. Bobby Brooks is being a real Class A turd, pushing Castile Angelics into the median, causing him to lose quite a bit of ground, and Bobby Brooks not suffering a penalty at all. Harrison Andrews on these extremely worn tires finds them going out of control, allowing Pierre Dadley and DeStreak to pass him as Tess Semmer. But with those completely worn down tires, he opts to go into the pits and let that grouping go by him. Lee Fabinga coming out of the pits about the same time as Castile Angelic and Xavi Venegas are passing the pits on their incredibly worn tires. Just to go show, there's essentially a one pit cycle lead between Late Fabinga and Xavi Venegas and Castile Angelic and Alex Burkhart. Von Salonier is about 13 seconds behind Late Fabinga, but is on the same pit cycle as him. So Von Salonier is closer to Castile Angelic and Xavi Venegas than may appear currently, just as a result of how much these two are losing time to staying out on the course a bit longer, as Von Salonier is charging up and is now closed the distance between those two and made it a 6-second difference. Xavi Venegas and Castile Angelic going into the pit. We'll see Von Salonier really catch up to them right here. As Von Salonier and Xavi exit the pit or pass the pit at the same time, Von Salonier having way more speed on those fresher tires and going. takes second place, being 7.5 seconds behind Late for Bingo. It's been the major change that's occurred in the top 5. Still a lot of racing to go, as we're 19 laps through 34. Tess Simmer likely falling into a similar trap to his teammate Castile Angelic. Rocking some pretty worn tires will likely allow Destreak to pass him, as well as Pete Savage in the next probably half a lap. For some reason they're just holding off and not passing him. Probably so out of control they're just trying to make sure that they don't get hit, as Tess Simmer goes into the pit, and Savage, Destreak, and Dadley all change that order up. Bengo's still sitting with a very comfortable 7.5 second lead over Vaughan Salonier. Vaughan Salonier sitting with a 1.5 to 2 second lead over Zavi and Castile Angelic. Burkhart sitting very patiently in 5th, Toth in 6th, Savage in 7th, and Dadley in 8th. Bodie Utah is the driver that we're seeing climb the rankings, going up into this 12th, as him and Mamma Mia are back and forth and have been back and forth all day to see who gets the higher position. Bodie Utah currently looks like he'll have a slight edge, but anything can change quickly out here. Wow, Xavi Venegas eating a 2-second penalty for crashing into Late for Bingo. Really doesn't matter too much for Bingo, just because he still has that 7.5 second lead and as the cycle for the tires go. But wow, Late for Bingo slamming the brakes on brake checking Xavi as Xavi gets out of the way. A little bit of road rage out here. Xavi does find himself going into the grass, allowing Late for Bingo to once again have the sole first position. Xavi doing everything he can to not take a pit stop. Finds himself bleeding time to Castile Angelic and Vaughan Salonier. We're getting to the point in the race where these pit stops may be the last for the racers, depending upon how aggressively they want to drive on these tires, especially in the wet road conditions. Leifer Bingo with an 8.5 second lead over Castile Angelic. Castile Angelic with a 2 second lead over Marcel Van Salinier, and Xavi Venegas in 4th, Burkhardt in 5th, Andrews in 6th, Toth in 7th, Savage and Tessim are battling it out for 8th, and Dadley in 10th. Bodie, Utah moved up to 11th. Like I said, doing a great job. Just had a rough starting position. It's becoming more and more likely that Leifer Bingo will likely need to pit one more time, whereas Castile Angelic may be able to push it the entire distance. There is a small chance that Leifer Bingo will stay on these tires for the rest of the race, which will likely have him bleed time. As I say, that Leifer Bingo goes in for a fresh set, and Castile Angelic will stay out. Van Salinier close in a similar situation to Castile Angelic in the tire wear department, as Bingo and Van Salinier are pretty much neck and neck. Pure Hoot is boxing out Leifer Bingo, giving Van Salinier essentially a second and a half to work with, just in that manner. Leifer Bingo, who's led for pretty much the entire race, finds himself in 3rd currently, but with potential to pass Van Salinier as he takes an aggressive inside line, and Bodie, Utah has moved up into 10th place, also in the mix with these premier drivers, as Leifer Bingo finds himself crashing on the outside. Castile Angelic, on very worn tires, finds himself bleeding time to Van Salinier and Leifer Bingo in the second to last lap. Leifer Bingo, on the freshest tires of them all, finds himself back in 1st, passing Castile Angelic and Van Salinier. What a phenomenal bit of racing to retain that 1st position and get back in it. Castile Angelic, like I said, falling to 2nd, and Van Salinier in 3rd. Xavi Venegas in 4th currently, and Alex Burkhardt steady as all being in 5th, with Toth in 6th, Pete Savage in 7th, Harrison Andrews in 8th. Xavi Venegas and Marcel Van Salinier battling for that 2nd. Leifer Bingo will cross the finish line 1st. We'll focus on this. Okay, Castile Angelic will take 3rd. Xavi Venegas slingshotting past Van Salinier will take 3rd. Van Salinier in 4th. Burkhardt back in 5th. Toth in 7th. And Harrison Andrews in 8th. Tess Simmer will likely quite a bit left to go. Focus on this battle for 10th with Bodie, Utah, and Pierre Dadley as Bodie, Utah finds himself outside of the points. Pierre Dadley taking that 10th. Really exciting final bit of racing there after everyone was pretty steady for quite a while. Congratulations once again to Late for Bingo, who really had this race from the get-go. And never relinquished anything. Like I was saying, congratulations to Bodie, Utah. I'm pretty sure they really had one of the most changes in positions throughout the race. That will conclude racing for this race day 14. I'm going to take a little bit of a break, go vote, all that jazz, and update the drivers. And we'll be back to finish up the season and crown ourselves a points king or queen for all the different divisions. So thank you, and I'll catch you guys soon.